Okay, someone asked about my compost pile, and I should not show you this hot mess because we need to mow. So I'm going to cover two things or three things at one time. This is the beginnings of my first hugelkultur pile. It is branches, really, not really logs. This is just a small startup one. But it's logs and branches, decaying, old ones that I found in the yard, and then some smaller branches and twigs. And then I actually put some partially finished compost on it because I knew it would help break things down, and there were some worms in it, and you can never go wrong with that. And then just some clay topsoil, and what I'll do probably this weekend, because I haven't gotten to it yet, well, maybe today, is cover it with topsoil, probably a mixture of black cow, which is, in case anyone thinks that's fertilizer, it's not. It's pH neutral though, and that's fantastic. And then probably that's about it, because all I'm going to put here this year is some cover crop, probably purslane, and I have a pumpkin. I don't know why I have a pumpkin started, but I do. I'm gonna let a pumpkin just go wild on there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe one of my watermelon. We'll see what happens. But this is really more of a long-term project, and around it, I'm gonna put cardboard to kill off those weeds, and I can put some things crawling up that trellis on the outside. Over here, I don't even know if you can see them. I saw some this morning. Let's see. Little bitty tiny seedlings coming up. Little bitty tiny. Those are my large cherry tomatoes. And I didn't put those in all that long ago, but they're coming up. And on this side of the arch, I know people were wondering what I did with the arch, but let's see, we have butternut squash, and I don't remember which. I think these are all my gourds. This is a really pretty decorative gourd that I bought the seeds last year, and I have a couple of those. And then my bell peppers are not coming up, and that bothers me, and neither are my cucumbers. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on over there. And then a loofah gourd. Okay, so that's the arch. Over here, dead branches and things, I'm just letting them, I need to chop them up a little bit. Please, somebody get a wood chipper. Tell me where I can find a wood chipper. My compost pile I turned this morning. I moved almost the entire thing. It's broken down a lot, but I've got it mounted on that side now. And when I tell you this thing gets hot, I mean it gets hot. And Jenny asked me what I do with my food scraps. I put them in the middle, so that, first of all, my dogs are very, very interested in the compost pile. So I try not to let them have access to it. Lucy was going up under the fence, and she can't now. But it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's on the other side of the house, and it's surrounded. It doesn't bother my neighbors. It never stinks, ever. I've got some trash over there I need to pick up. There's a lot of things I need to do. And I was gonna say, my garden and yard and all that this year, I mean, we've only been here a couple of months, are not about beauty this year. It's about getting the basics down. I've got some flowers coming up and things like that, and of course my roses in front are gorgeous, but it's not really about that. It's about getting some things established. This is for the new compost pile. No food scraps are going in there. I will probably break down a lot of that, and all the new yard clippings, and you saw there's going to be a lot of them, will go in there. That will get super, super hot too. But when I tell you this compost pile over here gets hot, I am not kidding. I really need to clean this area up. Oh, okay. So that's what's going on. And yes, I put all of my I put all of my food scraps in a bag in the freezer. That keeps any bugs or anything from getting on them. And some of them go to my worms. What can goes to the worms, and what can't goes to the compost pile. My worm farm, my worms don't appreciate too much, onions or any kind of acidic material. My beds aren't big enough. One of my beds isn't big enough to handle it. I could put citrus and things like that over to one side until it breaks down in the worm bin, and then they would eat the decomposed material. But I'm not stressing them right now. I want them to get established and start multiplying. So all of that goes in the outside compost bin. And when I tell you, I mean hot it gets. So I'm really, really pleased about that. I think I'm going to have pretty good compost pretty quickly. And that one again is going to be the slow pile. I'm going to chop that up. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to have Paul chop that up, and it will go in. It will be its own pile, because that's going to be a long time breaking down, even chopped up. And then we'll move it off. We'll move it off over into the corner over there, where on the other side, I guess the people who lived there before, or lived here before, put a bunch of trees over there, and it's housing bunnies, I think, right now. We saw a bunny right where that wood block is just a few days ago. Paul was so tickled. He thought that was great. And I love looking in the woods and seeing what's growing, wild strawberries and any number of things. But the thing, oh, smell that. It's honeysuckle and I don't even know what. But the blackberries, Paul is so excited about the blackberries. The flowers the petals have dropped off. It is crazy back here. The flowers have dropped off, and now the little berries are forming. I don't know if I can get it. Yes, here we go. Look at that. So the trick is going to be harvesting them before the birds do. And back here, look at the honey. Oh, there's my cardinal, if I can get it. There's one of them. We have so many here. Look how beautiful. Not gonna let me get a picture? Okay. Anyway, we have wild honeysuckle back here, and something is biting the fire out of me. Okay. So Skin So Soft didn't work for that. I'm debating clearing all this out and cutting it down, but back here, I've let it kind of be what it is. It's almost like a little magical secret garden. So, and this tree is magnificent. It's an amazing pine tree. People tell you not to put pine needles in your compost because pine supposedly has, and maybe it does, a growth suppressor. But I'd like to point out that beneath this massive pine tree and in all of this pine straw, things are growing just fine. So I'm gonna call BS on that one, or at least say that if you have something other than the pine in there, that things will be just fine, because my yard does not care. All kinds of things are growing in there. And oh, by the way, does anybody know what a sunchoke is? Let me get a picture of this, and tell me if you think that's a sunchoke. It's huge. I don't even know how to get a picture that talks about scale, but it's quite large. And if it is a sunchoke, I've got quite a few and I want to cultivate them. So somebody let me know. Is that sunchoke? And if it's not, what is it?